Well, howdy there, folks. Today we talk about a stock in which I've had a lot of people request. Let's talk about this one, and it is the Planet stock. Yes, the Planet stock is in the $3 range now, and I want to share my opinion on this stock. Has my opinion changed over time in regards to this stock? Gosh, at the lows in 2020, this stock might have been, I don't know, 50 cents a share or something like that. And so it goes on this run from, let's say, roughly 50 cents a share at the lows in March of 2020 to the next thing you know, it's trading at $7, $8 in like a snap of fingers. Less than 1 year that happened, right?
2024 is for cannabis. Life-changing upside, trading Planet 13 and Trulieve stock up 16.9% year to date. Peter Lynch said the key to making money in stocks is not to get scared out of them. This is one of the secrets of the art of trading. Why it's a good idea to trade cannabis stock in 2024 and why Trulieve stock has surged up 9% on Friday and 16.9% year to date. Well, Jeremy's Planet 13 stock has outperformed not only the S&P 500, but the MSOS Cannabis ETF with advanced 19% year to date. Is 2024 really the year for cannabis? Let me know in the comment section below what you think.
Planet. This is a company that sells Jack Jackson, okay? If you don't know Jack Jackson, man, we got a lot to teach you around here, okay? But nonetheless, they're a Jack Jackson company, and they have this massive store in Las Vegas. This was their first main flagship store. This store does pretty crazy volume. It's a little off the Las Vegas Strip. If you know where Fashion Show Mall is, it's right behind Fashion Show Mall. If you know where the Wynn and Encore is, it's probably about a 7 to 10 minute walk from the Wynn and Encore, essentially about a 2-minute drive from the Wynn and Encore, maybe a minute and a half nonetheless. So it's just off the Las Vegas Strip, and insanely popular store nonetheless, okay? And this is like, I call it like the Disneyland of MJ, essentially. Unemployment's been so low, they feel like the government's kind of been like, we don't necessarily need that sector. Believe me, as soon as real jobs start being lost, which we're starting to see in a major way, right? That's when the government starts to look around and be like, okay, where can we generate revenue? Where can we create jobs, right? That's what happens.
What's my art of trading strategy this year? And what not to do when you trade a penny stock like Planet 13? The things to watch out for that I am sure Jeremy never talked about.
Have to wait for the politicians, and when do they do it? Is it done in 2022, 2023, 2024? We're gonna have to see. My opinion is coming sooner rather than later. A vote in the United States of America right now, legalize or keep cannabis illegal, I 100% guarantee you there would be far more votes for legalizing cannabis around the United States.
I will first get into the fundamental reasons why cannabis stocks are burning hotter than the Red Sea right now. Yes, just kidding. Why you don't have to be scared when trading cannabis stock in the first half of 2024. Canada formally legalized recreational cannabis on October 17th, 2018. The Federal Cannabis Act came into effect. That was 6 years ago. Most of the cannabis stock in Canada went on for an epic run. Looking at the worst one on Aurora Cannabis, now is under 50 cents. But in 2016, the stock is under $5. After 2 years, when the legalization date happens, the stock is well over $100 a share. I am not saying to invest into these types of stocks, but a well-executed trade in this space is hugely rewarding. From $5 to $100 a share is 20x. This is a life-changing money we are talking about here. If you have 50K in that trade, you could make $1 million and finally be able to afford the house of your dreams. This just happened in Canada 6 years ago. Why is this happening again in the US? Well, most people still don't realize it yet. Of course, trading that much money carries huge risks. I will get into that later in the video. Now the fundamentals. The review was conducted at the request of President Joe Biden, who instructed HHS in an executive order issued in October 2022 to look through all available research on cannabis and recommend if the drug should be moved within the list of federally controlled drugs or removed from it altogether. Bloomberg first reported in August that HHS had recommended Mary Jane to be moved to Schedule 3, and the release of these documents on Friday confirms that. 12 state attorneys general urge DEA to reschedule cannabis. The U.S. government has released hundreds of pages of documents related to its ongoing review of cannabis status under federal law, officially confirming for the first time that health officials have recommended the DEA place cannabis in Schedule 3 of the Controlled Substances Act. The 252 pages of documents from the Department of HHS explain that cannabis has a currently accepted medical use in treatment in the United States and has a potential for abuse less than the drugs or other substances in Schedules 1 and 2. Federal health officials said their review found that more than 30,000 healthcare professionals across 43 U.S. jurisdictions are authorized to recommend the medical use of cannabis for more than 6 million registered patients for at least 15 medical conditions. There exists widespread current experience with medical use of cannabis by healthcare practitioners operating with implemented jurisdiction authorized programs where medical use is recognized by entities that regulate the practice of medicine, HHS said. The largest evidence base for effectiveness exists for cannabis use within the pain indication like neuropathic pain. In terms of safety compared to other substances, the Federal Health Review concluded that the risks to the public health posed by cannabis are low compared to other drugs of abuse. Based on an evaluation of various epidemiological databases for emergency visits, hospitalizations, unintentional exposures, and most importantly, overdose deaths. For overdose deaths, cannabis is always in the lowest ranking among other drugs. News first broke the health agency's rescheduling advice in August. While it was widely believed HHS had recommended a Schedule 3 classification, the documents released on Friday are the first to formally confirm that detail. If DEA ultimately accepts the HHS recommendation to move Mary Jane to Schedule 3, that would not broadly legalize it under federal law. However, it would have a meaningful impact in other ways. For example, by removing widely criticized research barriers and allowing state licensed cannabis businesses to take federal tax deductions. They're currently barred from under an Internal Revenue Service IRS code 280E. Late last year, the governors of 6 U.S. states, Colorado, Illinois, New York, New Jersey, Maryland, and Louisiana, sent a letter to President Joe Biden urging the administration to reschedule cannabis by the end of this year. Rescheduling cannabis aligns with a safe, regulated product that Americans can trust, says the governor's letter, which points to that 88% of Americans support legalization for medical or recreational use. As governors, we might disagree about whether recreational cannabis legalization or even cannabis use is a net positive, but we agree that the cannabis industry is here to stay. The states have created strong regulations, and supporting the state-regulated marketplace is essential for the safety of the American people. Now you understand the thesis behind this epic trade. Now let's get into the trading part. Why do people lose money trading cannabis stock? Emotional resilience is one mistake, and I'll explain what that encompasses. From a statistical perspective, one of the most important things that traders do, which time after time results in losing money, is they take their profits too soon. Oh, Ted's like, that's why they're losing money, because they're taking their profits too soon. They're getting out too soon. And they run their losses too long. And what I mean by that is they either don't use stop losses as traders, or they use them. They have very wide stops because they don't want to get stopped out of a trade. And then they bank their profits too soon. So what happens is if you're risking this amount to only end up banking this amount, then you're going to lose money, because you know you might have lots of little winners like that, but you have one loser come along and it'll take all of that winnings. It'll take all that winnings, Ted. It's going to take all that winnings. No, that's not good, Ted's saying. It's not good if it takes all our winnings, right? Look at Jeremy lost $1 million on that tattooed chef stock.
With a 7-figure mistake. Kind of be like, okay, I remember when Jeremy ... and then he went down $1 million on that stock, right?
That one trade has erased a lot of smaller wins from his Wynn Resort stock and Apple stock, etc. The reason that people take their profits too soon is the desire to be right. So again, it comes back down to us fundamentally that of course we want to be proven right on a trade. And we do that by taking our profits. So then when the emotional side of the game comes in, so that we need to do as traders is to build emotional resilience to the market and not think I've got to be right on this trade or the next trade. Look at yourself and your trading over the next 100 trades and accept that over the 100 trades, there's going to be plenty that are going to be losing trades, but that doesn't matter because you're just trading the possibilities of saying, right, if I stick to my trading plan and I get in here, and I'm going to exit here, is going to be up here. And don't allow yourself to jump out on emotions all of the time. And then you're going to put yourself in much better position. So you get in here and you exit here. Just like Harvey Specter said, life is here, but I like to be here. There are two things with money. One is to make it. The second is to keep it. Almost everyone, universally, 98% of people out there only focus on the one thing, how to make money. But then they don't really actually pay much attention to the second part, how to keep that. Famously, Jesse Livermore made a significant amounts of money in 1929 stock market, the Wall Street crash, and then he lost it all, and he made a significant amount of money, huge amount of wealth, but the one thing that he didn't do was know how to keep that money. He lost everything by the end of the 30s. Whenever anybody starts trading first, they don't put a stop loss in. What actually happens is they don't worry about the risk. What usually happens is they don't worry about risk, so they end up losing money. They make a little bit of money and they quickly lose it. And then what goes into their heads is the psychology becomes like this. They said to the market, I won't let you take this profit away from me. The next time they make a little bit of gain, a little bit of profit, because they lost money last time around. The last few times now, They say to the market, no, you're not going to take this profit away from me. I'm going to take it now, so they sell out too soon. So it's more of a fear of failure, a fear of loss. Following your plan, that's the most important thing. So if you follow your processes, then the outcome will take care of itself. Don't dollar cost average into cannabis stocks. Right now the trend is up for both Trulieve and Planet 13 as the stock prices are above both 50 and 200-day moving average. Buy the support level, don't fight the trend. Don't be like Jeremy, catching a falling knife